Today we're going to talk on something I'm very sure we're all too familiar about, and that is toxic masculinity. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this. A lot of have heard so much different takes on this particular term, this particular topic. It has been discussed so much, but today I'm going to really dive into it and really give you my view of what I think of it, just dissect it and break it down to what it actually is. Now, toxic masculinity. First of all, I would like to differentiate, I would like to put it out there that there is no such thing as toxic masculinity. There's only masculinity. There can be immature or naive masculinity, but there is no toxic masculinity. Now, I will explain. Masculinity in this aspect is generally a male termed identity, which is the profoundness of manhood. That is what differentiates you from the opposite sex. That is the key characteristics that make you a man, right? So masculinity is not is not a single term, a static definition, a static thing. It's more of a spectrum. It flows like this. There is the at one end of the spectrum, there is the tender and the gentle and the protective fatherly figure. At the other end, there's the aggressive and homicidal man. Those are not two different things. They are all still masculinity, but on different poles. I'll go again. Masculinity is not a single described or static term. It is a spectrum with two poles starting from the tender, the protective, and the fatherly figure type to the homicidal and aggressive type. They're all still the same thing. They're all still masculinity. That is just basically what it is. What there is instead is there are immature and naive men, not really toxic masculinity. Masculinity is tender, is kind, is proactive, is toxic. All of these characteristics can be found in it, but it doesn't mean that a section of it is described by any of these. It is they all flow together. To one person, to one person you may be one side of yourself. To another person, you may be another side. To another person, you may be another side. It's not something that people just decide what to tag you. It's just all those things are all just part of you. Your father that loves you, the way you view him is not the same way someone that double crossed him over a deal they had views him. The way he handles you is not the same way he handles someone like that. It's not the same way he handles a partner that cheats on him or deceives him. They see different sides of him. One sees a caring, tender time side, which is you, and another sees the aggressive or even bloodlust type. All those things are what makes him a man. Those are exactly what differentiates him from a lady. That is the reason he's a man. So there's really no way to go about this or anything we need to say. That is just how it is. What your father does, what he is, that is who he is. Now, I hope I've put this point out. That is just what I feel to start for is the misconception people have about this toxic masculinity they always talk about. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity. There's only naive and immature people. Immature people are those that don't know how far they don't know exactly how far to go or how to control themselves. Like when I say that there are two opposite poles, the kind and the severely aggressive type, they are all still the same state, the same spectrum, they are all still the same thing, but a reasonable and a mature person, a mature man knows his capabilities. He knows what he can do. He knows the things that can affect him and what he can inflict on others. So when he wants to handle someone, when he wants to even wants to discipline you when you're a child, the way he will handle you is not the same way he will somebody that attacks him on the street. It's not the same way you handle someone that mm, deceived him or anything like that. There are different different application of force that will be put in. A reasonable person knows and understands this. He knows when to do what, when to do this, how much of this needs to be done, when this needs to be done. That is what makes you a reasonable man. That is what makes you a mature man. That is what we should be teaching men, not telling them that they are toxic. Even though I'll still break that down. While growing up, I understood why people had that kind of conception. The whole boys don't cry, you have to do this, you don't listen to women don't, you shouldn't obey, or you are higher, you are more than women should submit to you. You don't do this, you should be careful, they don't do this, all those things. The way you interact with people, you shouldn't show emotion, you shouldn't show, you should be aggressively stern. All those are just misconceptions, mistakes in which people have inculcated and put it down on us as a reality. When you say boys don't cry, yes, boys will cry, but boys, they are not known for crying. Men are not known for crying, but men do cry. I'll say it again. Men are not known for crying, but men do cry. Men will cry because it is natural by them. So when people, but a man is not a lady. A man is not a lady. He can cry, like I was saying, he will, but he's not a lady that will break down at any obstacle he meets. He will just break down, start crying. That won't solve anything. Things aren't solved by just emotions. You have to feel it, build up that energy, and do something about it. That's the major thing. The fact that you're able to do something about it, that is what will solve problems, not just crying. You can feel and understand situations you're in, but at the end of the day, you have to solve them. That is the difference between you and a child. That is the difference between you and a man and a boy. That is also the difference between a man and a woman. A woman will be overcome by emotions and this kind of events, obstacles that meet her. But for you know very well, the way you operate is not the way that you are not. Men are not as emotionally tuned as women are. So even after you are hurt and you are pained and you understand something, you still have to walk through it. You still have to put your work through it, because that is the only thing that will change anything. That is one aspect. Another aspect is the one of women have to submit to men. Men are above them naturally, physically, spiritually, whatever alley you want to call it. And is yes, I agree with that. Men are born, they are born leaders, they are nurtured to be leaders. They are above women physically. They will it is naturally they will lead women than in any kind of society they are in. Any kind of normal society, it is the men that will take charge, because that is just how they are naturally built. The way they process things, the way they view things, the way they predict and work towards things. Men are naturally born with that stride. That is why men have to build their own value. Why men have to build their own homes and then bring women into it to make a family. Men will always lead. That will always happen. It will never stop happening. But a man as a human being is not better than a woman as a human being. His life is not any more precious than hers. But the both of them have different roles, but his life is not any more precious than hers. She the same way she watches her composure with him is the same way he has to understand and watch his composure with her. The same way she has to understand how he is, how what runs through him, the way he processes things, the same way she has to carry herself around him, the same way a man will carry himself around a lady. A lady is not a man that you talk to the same way you talk to your fellow guys. You all know that they are attuned differently. What stimulates them, what pleases them, what irritates them are not the same as what happens with fellow men. So men have to understand this. They have to learn this. They have to know how to relate with them. The same way women have to know how to carry themselves around men too. It goes both ways. But naturally, men will always superhead, they'll always oversee any group or community of women. That is how things are. You don't need to scream, you don't need to shout, you just need to just get up, bend, put your head in the ground and walk. That's all we do. You walk, you walk, you walk, you till you walk, you till you create. That is what makes you a man. That is the only thing that will bring value and respect to you. So in that aspect, these are what people normally hyperinflate and make it look like they are demigods. Then another aspect of people try to demonize the things and they make them look like they are very demonic, very inhumane. And the message I want to leave out here is a man is a man. A man is not a woman. A man should understand himself. He should know what he can do. He should know the pros and cons to being him. A woman should do the same, but for a man, you should know how to carry on about yourself. There's nothing you should be ashamed of in your masculinity. Your masculinity is what keeps this world the way it is. The same way femininity also plays its own part. It's like there are two, should I say it's the lock and key. They both have to come like this and hold and run together with each other for things to move. You play your own part, she does her own part, and things get going. You should never in any way be ashamed of your part. You should never feel the need to try to demote yourself or trying to fit into a narrative that they've made about you. But you should be aware enough, you should be reasonable enough to know your boundaries, to know what is acceptable, what is pleasurable for people, and what is acceptable in the normal society. Because if you as a man feel like you should do whatever you want, whatever you please to anybody you want because you are stronger than them, I want you to remember that there will always be someone stronger than you, irrespective of who you are. There will always be someone stronger than you. If you feel you can get away with what you want to get away because you are much more powerful, there's someone out there much more powerful than you. Whatever you permit yourself to do to someone else higher than you is automatically morally allowed to do that same to you. If you want that, then you to be a dog eat dog world. No one will like that. No one will want that. So you cannot just go around be bullying people, subjugating people. You cannot be beating people, beating women at will. You can't be hurting people. You can't be bullying people and see it as some kind of a macho man or something. Excuse my stammering. I didn't know. So that is just it. You just have to learn yes acceptable grounds of things, the acceptable boundaries of things, know how to carry yourself, know how to relate to different types of people. When you meet a stranger, let me describe you this. When you meet a stranger, the way you comport yourself with that stranger is how you should act with people. Except you both of you are very close and understand each other. When you meet a stranger, the way you act with that stranger is how you should carry yourself with people. The way you are cautious because you don't know who that person is and you're trying your best to just try and understand that person. That is how you should do anybody else you encounter. When you meet a stranger, a man, the way you approach and engage him is not the same way you will do for a lady. You know that. That's what I'm trying to say. The way you relate with that man is not the same way you will with a woman. They are not the same. With the things that tick and click them are not the same. You know how you carry yourself around and what you need to do. That is all. With that, I have come to the end of this topic. So for any man out there that is feeling a bit confused with this whole bashing of toxic masculinity, you have nothing to be ashamed of. There is nothing toxic about your masculinity, but you need to be a reasonable person. You need to be a someone of sound mind. You need to know when to and when not to do things, how far to go on things, and when exactly you should do things. Know your limits, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and know your limits. and find a balance between all of it. That is the only way to live a normal life. The only way to live. That is the only way to live. In my next video, I'll be talking with this same kind of view on femininity, understanding femininity, how I relate with women, what I understand about women, how women generally carry themselves, and what they can do, what more men can do to understand women. For now, for this video, I hope any of my female viewers that has watched this, I hope you have picked a thing or two in this video I've made. I hope you have understood a thing or two. This is not to really degrade anybody. This is just clarifying something. And in my next video, I'll do the exact same. So I hope everyone will stick in and enjoy it. So stick around and follow this channel if you want more of this kind of news, more of this kind of videos, because I'll be posting a whole lot more. All right, goodbye.